think the Pacers are a lot better than you're about to realize. And I'm very excited. I think the Pacers win this series, and
Okay,
that's not a hater standpoint. I
that's
really
fine.
do. I
That's
really
fine.
do. And I know I'd love, I know we'll get into a discussion here and have it be more than just like a smile and the Knicks are good. Like I really do believe this Pacer team has weapons that will be a challenge for the Knicks. I think for the Pacers, the biggest difference again is going to be, can they defensive rebound against a Knicks team that is relentless on the glass? But I think there's challenges that the Pacers present that are different than the Sixers. And the Pacers have a all-world point guard, a rebounding point guard in Halliburton that will make challenges for the Knicks. A floor spacer in Miles Turner who can go out and shoot the three, but also is a rim protector and can jump, unlike Embiid. I think this is going to be a hell of a series and one that will surprise Knick fans with just how good Indiana is.
Hey, listen, I'm not afraid of the
But,
Indiana
but,
Pacers
but
as a
why
Knicks
should? But
fan.
who asked you? But I'm not saying be afraid. Like at this point, if you're in the second round of the NBA playoffs, I don't think Josh Hart's going in afraid. I just, I just believe that Indiana has more talent that's being that you'll realize in real time, just like Sixer fans did with the Knicks. I picked the Knicks in six, so it's not like
Nailed it.
I'm not. I like I don't know. It's something my fear for the Knicks in this series is at some point you have to play more than six guys in your rotation.
Oh, I agree with that.
And
I agree with that.
Indiana is deep, man. They in the playoffs. In the playoffs, your bench is shortened, but they cannot get away with, and you cannot get away with playing six guys and Deuce McBride to like it's six guys and Deuce as the seventh to spell Jalen Brunson a minute. Like the
No,
guys have to get
I hear
minutes.
you. I hear you. You have to the Knicks for this series versus the Pacers. They have to dust off Alec Burks, and you have 3 days to get him ready. You just come in for 3 to 7 minutes,
Yeah.
shoot 1 3, and then sit down. Like you need something, and he's good enough to even if he's been off and he was terrible in the regular season after they got him back. You have to play Alec Burks in this series. You can't go seven deep, and you have Precious Achua who's ready to go just in case Mitchell Robinson or Hartenstein get hurt. You don't really need him. You know what I'm saying? You need a guard. You need a wing, somebody who can spell the guys because I'm watching this game in Philly, and it's like these guys have been on the court the entire game, and I'm not like home watching like the box score. Like I'm just watching it without looking at my phone. I'm like, this is crazy, but at the end of the day, I really think the Knicks are going to sweep the Pacers. They are so on fire and they are so locked in. And the Pacers only beat the Bucks because Giannis and Dame were hurt. And I have no respect for them. I honestly, I really don't. The Knicks have not lost back-to-back games with OG Anunoby in the lineup, and I know you love that stat, but it's still
Well,
true. And they've played what 30 something games with him. Like that's a lot, man. And well, I don't know if it's 30 something, whatever, it's close to that. And I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think the Knicks have the better team. They have the better home court advantage. They have the home court advantage. They, are gonna get 3 days off like they need. It's just I don't know, man. I think
no,
they
I
have better
understand you. I
centers.
mean, no, I
They have a better
understand.
player.
They have the
Just
best player in the series. I would then say Indiana probably has the second and third best. Um, but I wouldn't say it's
yeah.
by much.
Well, they
But
definitely
I
have the
would.
second best. Yes, for sure. They
I
definitely have the second
mean,
best.
we
Yeah,
could do the
for sure.
Siak. We could do
Siakam and
Siakam
OG. I
argument.
mean, I don't know. OG Anunoby and Siakam know each other from Toronto, so we'll
Right.
see how that
Siakam. I
goes.
mean,
Yeah,
Siakam's a perennial all star. He's a much better
right.
scorer. He can
Scorer
get.
for sure.
He can score the basketball.
Yes, he can. Playoff
Ananobi.
experienced as well, of
Ananobi
course.
can score. He can create his own shot. He doesn't do it often. I think he's going to probably have to
Def
need to do it.
Foul line jumpers,
But
money
yeah,
from OG Anunoby.
no,
Yeah,
no, I get
yeah.
you. I
Mhm.
get you. And if Jalen Brunson is going to, continue to be a 40 plus, and what did I say, Alex, before the series started versus Philly? I said for Philly to win, they need to keep Brunson to 25 to 32. If he does this 40 stuff, they're going to win. And he did. He did
Well,
this
they won
40
game
stuff.
one and two, and he had 20s.
But it
So
was
like they still won.
right. But as this thing got elevated, you could see if he
Right.
doesn't score in those fourth quarters like he did, Embiid shriveled, Brunson didn't. Brunson showed up to the moment and destroyed it.
Fair.
Embiid disappeared.
Yeah,
overall in
awful
these
in the fourth
all these
quarter. He had
games were
one good
close.
fourth quarter. That's the
All these
only
games were close.
yeah. Embiid had one good fourth quarter, and that was game three when he just went nuts. And that was it. The rest of the fourth quarters, he was nothing. He was garbage. you know,
Yeah,
but the
the
Sixers
Pacers are
hit
going to
their
bring
free
waves of
throws.
Pacers will
Yeah,
bring waves of people like TJ McConnell's going to come in, Obi Toppin's going to come in. They're going to bring energy. There's also
right.
this misconception that Indiana's just going to chuck up threes. Like the Knicks won games in the series when they made their 3-point shots. They lost when they did not. Dante DiVincenzo, 23 points, made his threes.
Right.
Josh Hart made those threes. So this idea that the Knicks are, and they're a great defensive team, but they don't rely on the 3-point shot as well is a complete misnomer. I mean, they live and die by it too. So I know everybody's going to be like, oh, the Pacers just take a bajillion threes and run up and down the court. The
Yeah,
Knicks,
well,
the slow defensive pace team. No, the
it's not
Knicks are going to
true.
take a lot of 3-point shots. Brunson, Hart, Ananobi, DiVincenzo's usually taking 7 to 10 a game. I mean, these guys shoot. Deuce McBride, who made an absolute monster three just when Brunson was out. That was a
Oh
huge
yeah.
shot. Yeah, I think I know you don't respect the Pacers now and all the reasons you laid out. I think your mindset will change on them fast.
It
I really
also
do.
is. It's also that's fine, and it's also the Sixers are an amazing free throw shooting team. Like they just did not miss from the line in game six. And overall, they were the second best free throw shooting team in the league this year. And the Pacers were the 13th and the Knicks were the 16th. So they're kind of even there where it's like the Sixers, if they got fouled, like they were making both free throws. It was
Embiid, yeah, he makes
maddening.
them. Mm-hmm.
Like it's not even Embiid, it's Maxi, it's everybody. Like the
Yeah,
entire team. Like in Game Six, they were like what, like 20 of 21 or 19 of 20, like something absurd. If they were like a normal free throw shooting team, like that game's over. And it's just crazy. And I think like that's the difference also, where it's like you feel like you're winning these games with the Sixers, and all of a sudden the game is still close, and you're like, why is this so close? And it's because they just don't miss, at the line. And that's definitely a big threat for a big help for the Knicks in this series. So I don't know, man. I just feel that the Knicks are rolling and they really need this break, and it's going to help. And they're coming
yeah,
home,
it does help.
and the only difference is that Knicks fans are not traveling to Indiana.
Pacers have a good home court. As
They
much
do.
as
They do.
I'm not
They
going to make
they love their
comps, but they
teams.
love
Yeah.
their basketball, and it's.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll make
I know.
'90s Knick fans. We'll make '90s
You can
Pacers,
go
which is a thing too.
2013 with the mellow year too. You can do that too.
It's a
You know what
good
I mean?
crowd.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's
It is.
yeah. That's going to
You
be
know,
different. That'll be. I know it sounds weird because you're like, oh, Indiana versus Philly, but
no.
Pacer
Indiana's
fan,
like one of the capitals of basketball in
they
this
love
country.
them,
Yeah. Like
and there
they know
won't be the Nick
basketball.
fan traveling. There will be Nick fans in the building. I'm
If
sure
it
of it,
if it
but it
gets to
won't
a
be the
game
same.
six, if it gets to a game six, Knicks fans I think will travel. But games three and four are Friday is game three, and game four is Sunday, which is Mother's Day. So I don't think a
Right.
lot of a lot of Knicks fans are traveling to Indiana and missing Mother's Day.
And
You know what I'm saying?
here's the
So
difference too. The
yeah.
secondary market with the Sixers, the Pacer fan is like the Nick fan. The
Mhm.
Pacers have not been good. They've started to get better. Now I don't know the exact Pacer
No, it's a great
record,
point. That's a
but
great
they
point.
are a team that is in the similar fashion that is ascending. And we poke fun at the midseason tournament. But remember those games and they were kind of wild, right? And how
Right.
much energy the Pacer fan, like the Nick fan, is ready to erupt. They've got a young point guard in Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think he's as good as Brunson. Calm down, everybody.
Star. He's a
But
star.
but they
Oh yeah.
have they have all the makings of a fun team with Obi Toppin off the bench, TJ McConnell off the bench. I mean, it's a team
Shepard.
that has
Yeah.
been
No, they're good.
rising. So you got to. It's similar like that. This fan base is not like the Sixer fan base. This is one that's it is passionate about their team.
Right, right. No, and they're good. They're good. And the one thing was they didn't have a lot of experience, people are saying, but they do. They got Siakam, who's won a title. They got
Yeah,
Miles Turner, who's been around. Obi Toppin has experience with the Knicks. TJ McConnell has experience. These guys have been around the block. It's
sure.
not like they just showed up with a bunch of guys that are all like the Thunder, which are they're just so good. But it doesn't matter if they have experience or not. And they played, with a team that was injured. But point is like the Pacers have experience. I'm just not worried. I just think the Knicks are just loaded right now, and they are, if they can stay healthy and they can work on their rotations and they can stay like above the fatigue level, I think the Knicks will sweep the Pacers, maybe five. I think it's not going to, and There may be a couple games that are close, but I just think the Knicks are gonna win this series and win it easily. And it's gonna be like the Hawks series in 1999, where they just sweep them, they punch them in the mouth, and see you later.
Yeah, I have more faith in Indiana. I see the Pacers in 6. But
Really,
yeah,
six,
I don't yeah, because I don't think game 7, if they lose game 6, that they lose game 7. But I think they get 2 in New York and then finish the deal in Indiana.
two in New
I
York. So do you think that? So oh wow, so the Knicks have not lost back-to-back games with OG Anunoby in the lineup. So you think that they're going to in this series?
um I don't well, let's see. If we go split in New York, so that's 1-1, okay. Then split in Indiana,
So the
that's
three, four,
2-2, and then
okay,
win that game 5. And
and
then so
six.
5 and 6 would be the
They'll be the
back to
back to
back.
back. Yeah. All right, man.
That's my
Let's
order.
see. Let's see.
Yeah. I don't know. Usually in the past, I'll be honest, I would just say the Knicks because I'm like in this karma game of if I say that, but I the part that I just keep falling back on is the Knicks over a long series. Thibodeau is not playing guys at all. And I understand that game 6, he spelled Brunson 1 minute in the fourth quarter, which he needed, which was a brilliant move
Right.
there because it got him the spark he needed to close the deal in the last 4 or 5 minutes or whatever.
Right.
But you cannot. I don't think they can beat the Pacers in a 7-game series. We're not talking about one game where Josh Hart is playing 48. Brunson and Anunoby are playing 45 to 46. I don't think over the long haul that is going to be something that can help you win when it's also like the Jason Kidd years with the Nets. They bent whenever they benched him, it was terrifying. But they would do a rotation where Lucius Harris or Kerry Kittles would come in and be backup, and Kidd would get his 6 minutes, and he would play 42 minutes, and guys would
Right.
play 30. I just
You have to
I I
rest. You
I
have
feel
to
like
rest.
a little, and I don't know. It's just you cannot play 45 to 48 minutes multiple games as against a Pacer team that is fresh because those Bucks wins, I mean, it was 6 games, but it was not the same 6 games. It was not the same 6 games. So, but the big card though, Jalen Brunson, man. If he's going to be top player in the league, I mean that's how he played. It probably won't matter, right? And it probably won't matter if he's going to go for 40 every night, and not just 40, but the 8 to 12 points in the fourth quarter when it's close.
Right.
He definitely swayed people's viewpoint of him nationally that didn't before, and felt a little differently about him. And he had an all time great series, and that's the big difference too from last year's Knicks, right? Jalen Brunson is playing at a different level than he was last year. Oh, he was great,
He was
but
great
but
though last
he's
year in the
but now
playoffs.
he's is he the best player in the league? Great.
Right, right. Last year in the playoffs, he did play really well. Don't listen to Candace Parker. Like he did play really well in the playoffs.
But not like this.
And I mean, his numbers were great. I don't know what they were. We can look it up, but like they were great. It's just that now it's 2 years in a row that he's doing this, and it's like kind of like it's not just a flash in the pan. Like
To
let's
go
let's
in
pay
into
attention.
into Philly and have those kind of
Let's look it
quarters. I
up.
mean, he was brilliant. Like he was next level brilliant.
No, he was, and I'm looking up his game log for the playoffs, and like we keep saying the same thing over and over. But you have to dust off Alec Burks and you have to play him some minutes. I know it's like it's scary and he stinks and whatever, but like he's been in the league long enough. He's been in the playoffs with the Knicks. He's been in the playoffs with other teams. It's time to just, I don't know if he's been in the playoffs with other teams. Either way, he's been in the playoffs with the Knicks. He's been here. He can do it. You know what I'm saying? So Jalen Brunson in the Cleveland series last year, he went 27 and 2, 20 and 6, 21 and 6, 29 and 6, 23 and 4, and they won in 5. And then
Yeah,
the Heat series, 25 and 7, 30 and 2, 20 and 8, 32 and 11, 38 and 7, 41 and 3.
right.
So he did the same thing last year that he did now. I mean, it's more efficient this year, I guess. But I'm
Look at
telling you, it's just because it's the second year in a row he's doing it, in my
he's playing
opinion.
better than he was last year. I will disagree
All
with
right.
that. I
Disagree.
mean, he has taken his game to another mode.
Mhm.
I mean, that Heat series they lost.
Right.
They,
But
they
it wasn't because
lost
of
that,
him. It wasn't because of him that they
but
lost.
but 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 they won the Sixers series because of him.
Right.
Right,
Right.
Alex. Like if
The
there's
difference
no
is OG
Jalen
Anunoby
Brunson,
also.
if they,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
take Jalen Brunson off the Knicks,
Hmm.
they're
Garbage.
they're
Yeah.
not good,
Yeah.
and
No.
that's just and it's and I don't want to minimize everybody around them. It's they have such good pieces that come together. They just fit so perfectly. Oh man, who said it? I apologize. He's been a guest on this podcast. He has his Knicks book. You can remind me, but I was thinking
Paul
it.
Mepper. Paul
Yeah, I
Mepper.
was
Knicks of the
thinking it.
90s. Yeah.
I was thinking it, but I didn't say it, and he put it on paper, and I was like, it's different, but it's the same. I was like, they're like the 2001 Sixers, where you have this all-world small
Jalen Iverson.
player in
Yeah. Yeah.
Iverson, and you just
Yeah.
have guys around Iverson that you don't have a really true number two scoring player, but just people that
Eric
fit.
Snow. Eric Snow.
But right, you know what I'm saying? Like all the guys
Yeah.
around him fit and played so hard
Right.
that your superstar point guard, or in Iverson's case, two guard, whatever, got you to the finals.
And
Then they
Larry
met Shaq.
Brown, same kind of coach as
Yeah,
Tibbs,
it was very similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was just, and I was like, oh, that to me is what the Knicks are. But like, for example, if you take Iverson off that Sixer team, they're terrible. And
Yeah.
and you take Brunson off, all of a sudden you're asking, how is Josh Hart getting the open shots? He's not. How is, now DiVincenzo's your guy? It changes. But
Yeah.
when you
No,
have, but that's the NBA, man. If you
it's
have,
true.
top three players, you make it work.
To your point, also, it just shows like whenever another player stepped up in the Sixers series, the Knicks won the game. Josh Hart stepped up,
Mm-hmm.
DiVincenzo stepped up, and they won the game. Knicks just need help from one other player. OG Anunoby needs to be a little more aggressive, and the Knicks can sweep the Pacers.
Oh,
It's
that
just